Imagine a football team that's on the cusp of greatness, but still struggling to find its footing. That's exactly what the Las Vegas Raiders are facing as they gear up for their preseason home opener against the San Francisco 49ers. But here's where it gets interesting. Their joint practice on Thursday was a mixed bag, filled with moments of brilliance and periods of frustration. As Coach Pete Carroll put it, it was great to get against these guys. They're skilled and they do a lot of cool things scheme-wise. It was a totally positive experience. But what does this really mean for the Raiders, and how will they fare in their upcoming game? Let's dive into the good, the bad, and the in-between from their joint practice. On the positive side, the Raiders' offensive line held up remarkably well, even against a pass-happy 49ers team. With defensive ends Nick Bosa and Mykel Williams not practicing, the 49ers struggled to create disruption, and the Raiders' O-line was able to spring running back Ashton Jeanty for a nice chunk gain during team drills. Quarterback Geno Smith was rarely pressured and had plenty of time to throw, which is a testament to the O-line's solid performance. As Smith himself said, "I felt really good back there. I had a lot of time to go through my reads and get to the backside of some reads. I was even getting to the fourth and fifth option. I thought they did a great job." However, the Raiders' secondary was a different story altogether. Even with starting receivers Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings sidelined, quarterback Brock Purdy was able to dice up the Raiders' secondary with ease. Ricky Pearsall had the most success on downfield completions. But the Raiders also had issues sticking with running back Christian McCaffrey and fullback Kyle Juszczyk on routes out of the backfield. The safeties had their problems, and the cornerbacks were a bigger issue, with none of them standing out in a positive way. This is a major concern for the Raiders, and they'll need to step up their game to avoid a repeat on Saturday. On the other hand, Maxx Crosby was a terror for the 49ers, winning most of his reps during one-on-one drills and registering a couple of sacks against Purdy during team drills. He's healthy now and looks like himself again, which is a huge plus for the Raiders. But the rest of the defensive line was a different story, with defensive end Tyree Wilson logging a sack during team drills, but otherwise a quiet morning for the rest of the D-line. Considering both Williams and left guard Ben Bartch were out for the 49ers, it was a disappointing showing for the Raiders up front. The biggest problem area is defensive tackle, where the Raiders have rotated multiple players next to Adam Butler, including Jonah Laulu, Thomas Booker, J.J. Pegues, Tonka Hemingway, and others. To this point, they haven't identified a consistent difference maker in the pass rush or run defense. Laulu and Booker have earned most of the first-team snaps alongside Butler as of late, and Booker has made an impression on Carroll, helping create the pressure that led to Crosby's second sack in team drills. As Carroll said, he's done really well. He's a quick learner. He just picks stuff up right off the bat. He's battling to play a lot. He's been with the ones quite a bit and deserves to. He's already shown that. In terms of the receivers, Jakobi Meyers had a good day, consistently getting open and hauling in most passes thrown his way. He's quickly cultivated strong chemistry with Smith and is clearly the quarterback's #1 receiver. However, the other receivers struggled to separate, with San Francisco leaning on aggressive coverages with a lot of press, and the Raiders receivers often getting jammed up at the line of scrimmage. Receivers Dante Thornton and Jack Beck were held in check, and about midway through practice, Thornton got banged up and pulled with a head injury. Toward the end of practice, receiver Trey Tucker started to find a groove, getting open during red zone drills for a quick touchdown. The Raiders are going to need him to be more consistent and get more from all their non-Myers receivers to have an effective passing attack this year. And this is the part most people miss. The Raiders' performance on Thursday was a microcosm of their entire season. They have the talent and the potential, but they need to put it all together and find consistency. As we head into the preseason home opener, the question on everyone's mind is, can the Raiders finally find their footing and make a push for greatness? We'll have to wait and see, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be an exciting ride. So what do you think? Can the Raiders turn it around and make a statement in their upcoming game? Let us know in the comments.